This is CBC Winnipeg News.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. A Manitoba family is exhausting every avenue possible to get their dying child medication he desperately needs. 5-year-old Leo DuPont has a rare and terminal neurological disease. His family is watching his health deteriorate and say they haven't been able to get their hands on the meds that could help delay it. CBC's Felicia Adam has their story.
Climb on the slide.
This is 5-year-old Leo DuPont. A year and a half ago. Walking, talking, and having fun. Earlier this year, he was diagnosed with Niemann-Pick disease type C, a rare and fatal neurodegenerative disease. With each day, Leo's ability to walk and talk deteriorate. His family is working with a film crew to document his journey with a life-ending disease.
It's hard. It's not easy to see your child being robbed of his abilities to move, to communicate, and for us to see him slowly lose those things on a daily basis is very difficult.
To slow symptoms, Leo's parents have been trying to get much-needed medicine for Leo, Meglustat and Miplyffa.
We know his life is shortened, and we know his life looks different, and our goal right now is to give him the best quality he can for the time he has left.
Their request for Miplyffa was rejected by Health Canada's special access programs. In August, the family applied to get Meglustat onto a list of drugs covered by the Manitoba government, but the approval didn't come.
The longer we wait, what we're preserving is getting worse, right? What we're preserving is getting lost each day.
Leo's story went public. The family says within days, thousands of emails were sent to Manitoba's health minister's office. And on Wednesday, Health Minister Uzoma Azaguera approved the drug.
There is a very important and rigorous process for review and for approvals in Manitoba that needs to be followed. And we're happy to have been able to follow that and expedite that here for this family.
Leo! The minister couldn't say when Leo would have access to the drug.
He's a great kid. He's got such a positive attitude, and we want to live the best life that we can. We want him to have the best life that he can.
Now the family can look ahead, grateful for this first step. Felicia Adam, CBC News, Steinbach.
The federal budget calls for further cuts to immigration, including a drastic reduction in international students coming to Canada. The government had already capped the number of study permits, but enrollment remains steady at some post-secondary institutions. As CBC's Josh Crabb reports, the budget signals a change for colleges and universities.
Alexandra Kretskaya enjoys learning alongside international students. She's disappointed the federal government is further reducing how many are allowed to come to Canada.
I always think the more diversity we have, the better, and isn't that what Canada's goal was from day one? So it kind of feels like we'd be backtracking.
A budget for the country.
The 2025 budget calls for Canada to cut the number of international students nearly in half. Its previous target projected welcoming more than 300,000 students next year. The budget proposes a cap of 155,000 in 2026. Dropping to 150,000 each of the following 2 years. The University of Winnipeg has already felt the financial impact of previous cuts to international students who pay higher tuition. Daniel Leonard with U of W says it goes beyond that.
Our international students bring so much. They bring so much to our classrooms, to perspectives, and so we want to continue to emphasize to government that there's a real missed opportunity here.
In their budget, the government says in 2018, 3.3% of the population were temporary residents. Last year, that number more than doubled, putting pressure on housing supply, healthcare, and schools. Ottawa says this is no longer sustainable.
We've seen the decrease that was originally announced, which was to lower the whole system by 35%. We're moving way beyond that now. And so I was disappointed. And especially
University of Manitoba President Michael Benarosh says it's hitting revenues hard despite the decline in international students. Enrollment in post-secondary schools is not down. The U of M hit an all-time high with more than 31,000 students, an increase driven by domestic students.
It's motivating us as a university to work harder to attract local students.
Benarosh says there were some positives in the budget, including money to attract international researchers. Josh Crabb, CBC News, Winnipeg.
First Nations leaders in Manitoba say the federal budget falls far short of their community's needs. After a wildfire season that saw thousands of First Nations people displaced from their homes and communities, leaders say they're frustrated there was no money designated for wildfire strategies. They also expressed concern for a lack of funding for First Nations housing. Broken Head Ojibwe's chief says it means infrastructure projects like water treatment plants and schools will be stalled.
And I think that's the biggest concern that I have right now, because in Broken Head we need a new school. We're building a subdivision right now for 47 homes. We're going to have more children coming in, and again I'm being told that we don't have any resources for schools.
They say this will push First Nations deeper into debt, adding that the federal government does not bring them to the table when making budget decisions. Arctic Gateway is welcoming a commitment from the federal government to the Port of Churchill and the Hudson Bay Rail Line. The federal budget reconfirmed $180 million over the next 5 years to improve the port and rail line. Arctic Gateway took over the rail line in 2018. The company says it's improved the infrastructure to allow goods such as critical minerals and potash to be sent by rail to the port, where they are then shipped to Europe. It says this financial support will help the port become a key transportation route.
The Government of Canada clearly sees how the Arctic Gateway Group supports our national goals to diversify trade, be a global energy superpower, assert our sovereignty in the North, and advance Indigenous economic reconciliation.
He says they're working to upgrade the rail lines and move towards year-round shipping out of the Port of Churchill. Starting November 17th, Winnipeg will ban tents near playgrounds, schools, and transit stops. A Winnipeg City Councillor and a local advocate say the city can learn from Halifax, where officials set up designated camping areas with basic services and are now phasing them out. CBC's Cameron McLean has more.
Winnipeg is far from the only city in Canada struggling to cope with a rising number of homeless encampments. Halifax set up several designated sites for people with nowhere else to go, providing basic supports like portable washrooms, garbage removal, and access to power. As Winnipeg prepares to ban encampments across wide parts of the city, Daniel McIntyre councillor Cindy Gilroy traveled to Halifax to learn about their strategy. But she'd like to see officials here take a more hands-on approach to helping people get into housing.
What I'd like to see is kind of a Winnipeg look at what we need, and I'd actually, because I really want to get people into shelter, housing, or addiction treatment, so I'd want it managed and triaged like that.
St. Boniface StreetLinks founder Marion Willis joined Gilroy on the trip to Halifax. She says their model isn't perfect because the sites aren't actively supervised.
They're not managed sites, they're service sites. But I think if we had a site that was both serviced and managed, that was given a specific mandate, I really think we could kind of perfect that designated encampment model.
Halifax launched its designated encampment strategy in 2022. It currently has 3 sites, but plans to phase them out because officials say more shelter and supportive housing space has become available. Halifax announced Wednesday that one of the 3 remaining designated camps would shut down by December 7th. Winnipeg's encampment restrictions come into effect November 17th. Cameron McLean, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Time now to bring in weather specialist Riley Lachak. And Riley, while we might be digging out those warmer coats, fortunately, we haven't had to put the sunglasses away.
Yeah, nice sunny day across much of the province, Brittany, throughout the day today. But I'm going to start big picture because there's a little bit to see here. First, we have high pressure over the U.S. Midwest, and this has helped keep us sunny for the most part, right through northwestern Ontario, through Manitoba, and into parts of Saskatchewan. But it's what's building over the Rockies and over parts of central Alberta that I want you to pay attention to, because this is our next weather maker as we get into the next 24 hours or so across the province, with even some locations looking at some accumulating snow as we head into the day on Thursday. So you can see that sunshine across much of the province, a bit of thin high-level cloud into parts of northern Manitoba, but overall we've been under a pretty sunny sky throughout the day today. That does change through the overnight hours tonight with some clouds starting to build in. Winds stay light through the overnight hours into the morning on Thursday, -2 first thing in the morning or so, within a couple degrees of that. And then as we get into the afternoon, we're looking at periods of rain starting. And as we see temperatures dropping, Brittany, we're looking at some of that even mixing in with some snow into the Red River Valley. More of a snow event into western parts of the province, and I'll go into detail on that when I come back.
All right, thanks, Riley.
You're welcome.
It's a limp this cat didn't used to have, but after a surgical error, Shadow lost his leg. Why that vet is now facing repercussions. Next. A Winnipeg veterinarian is being ordered to shutter his practice next year. It comes after one pet owner says he made a surgical error that left her cat without one of his legs. It's the latest in a string of disciplinary actions ordered by the province's regulatory body against the vet. Veerlyn Kubanek reports.
Make your massages. Oh, yeah. Hey. Oh, he's like the sweetest cat.
Noelle McIver's 4-year-old cat, Shadow, was lame in his right hip 2 years ago. She took him to the veterinary clinic where she worked. The veterinarian diagnosed Shadow with severe osteoarthritis of the right hip and did surgery on the cat. But there was an error during the surgery, and about 4 months later, that led to the cat's leg being amputated by a different veterinarian.
It was excruciating to watch him go through recovery. I was to the point where I thought I was going to have to euthanize him because he was not having a quality of life. Like, he was not happy. Anytime he would move, he would just like cry and be like in an aggressive manner, and he couldn't walk. He was swaying back and forth.
McIver filed a complaint against the veterinarian who did Shadow's initial surgery, Dr. Wenxiao Zhang at Animal Hospital of Manitoba on Main Street in Winnipeg. CBC interviewed Dr. Zhang about his veterinary practice in 2023 when he already had prior disciplinary rulings against him by Manitoba's veterinarian regulator. Now, the Manitoba Veterinary Medical Association has made 4 more disciplinary findings in complaints against Dr. Zhang, including the one involving Shadow. Zhang has admitted he's guilty of professional misconduct, and he is ordered to retire from practice next year at the end of June. The discipline decision ordered him to immediately stop doing orthopedic surgery. In response to the discipline, Zhang said, "I feel I have been systemically discriminated against by MVMA Peer Review Complaints Committee for many years in many cases." In an email, Zhang told CBC News, "I am ready to retire as long as I am able to find 1 to 2 veterinarians to work to keep the Animal Hospital of Manitoba operational." He said he's been trying to sell the business and has been advertising for over a year already to find other veterinarians to work at the practice. Animal Hospital of Manitoba may have to be forced to close its door in 2026. What a pity, he added. Zhang also noted that he charges lower exam fees than other animal hospitals in Winnipeg and has offered clients a subsidy program on veterinary fees. McIver says she thinks the MVMA should have acted sooner concerning Zhang in light of prior disciplinary decisions against him.
I think they need to be holding their doctors at a higher level, a higher standard than other people.
The MVMA's interim registrar told CBC News that cancelling a veterinarian's registration, such as in Zhang's case, is the most severe sanction possible, and one that has not been done before by an MVMA inquiry panel. Veerlyn Kubanek, CBC News, Winnipeg.
It was a month of finger-pointing and heated debate from either side of the legislative chamber. But now a hotly contested bill that would see the time a highly intoxicated person can be detained has passed. CBC's Bryce Hoy has been following the saga. And Bryce, what happened today?
Well, Brittany, a last-minute push successful. Early this evening, Manitoba MLAs voted through Bill 48, 51 in favor, 1 opposed. Now, that one vote, independent MLA Mark Wasilyu. Now, this means the detention limit for intoxicated people moves from 24 hours to up to 3 days. This bill largely targets meth users who experience psychosis and who the NDP say may pose a risk to themselves and others. The NDP say the PCs were standing in the way, despite voting in favor twice in early stages. Now, this afternoon, the NDP held a news conference. Winnipeg's mayor, a number of paramedics, community groups, all stood behind Premier Canoe and Addiction Minister Smith's plan.
I know it sounds terrible locking somebody up, but I also seen people out there how dangerous they are, and they don't even know that they're dangerous. I've seen a guy stand there with his hands frozen solid as I was giving him food, and I got help for him, but then he became super dangerous to the paramedics that were trying to help him.
Now, Tory leader Abi Khan says the PCs support the intent of the bill, but still questioned where a detox center is going.
If you believe that having a detention unit within 500 meters of a school, a daycare, is the right thing to do, then that's your opinion. We heard from Manitobans, they did not think that was right.
Now, concerns have been raised by people in the community, but supporters also say this could ease pressure on emergency workers.
There's nothing new here. This is just about responding to what the medical experts tell us needs to happen so that people using harder drugs than existed in the past can get the care that they need today.
Now, we can expect the NDP to move quickly to open this detox center. Brittany.
All right, thank you. That's CBC's Bryce Hoy. Riley back in now. Riley, that dreaded S word, snow on the horizon.
Yeah, for parts of the province, Brittany, certainly lighter in some parts of the province over others, but yeah, I think a good chunk of us have a shot at some of the white stuff as we get through the next 24 hours or so. So here's the setup. We have high pressure over the territories. That is really helping to clear out much of the prairie provinces, and a low that is building a weak but fast-moving clipper system over the Rockies, and that is what's going to push into the province as we get into the day on Thursday. That high pressure actually helping to keep that low pressure pushing further southeastward, so we're not getting the main brunt of it, but certainly we'll feel some of the impacts as we get into the day on Thursday. So as we start Thursday, cloud starts to build in, and you can see the leading edge of some of this, and some of this in most cases I think will be starting as a rain event. However, some of those higher elevations, the Duck, the Riding Mountains, this is where we do have the potential to get into some accumulating snow as we get through the day on Thursday. And you can see some of that pushing through parts of the Interlake, northern and central Interlake as we get into the afternoon hours on Thursday. In Winnipeg, I do think this starts as a rain event, but as temperatures cool through Thursday evening into Friday morning, that's when we have a shot through the Red River Valley and into parts of northwestern Ontario of this transitioning into 1 or 2 centimeters of snow. I'll show you some of the modeling on that in just a moment. But then as we head into Friday, that high pressure slowly starts to push a little bit further south. It will try and clear us out, but watch along the lakes as we get through Friday into Saturday again for some lake effect snow with that wind shifting back to a more northwesterly flow in the wake of this. So if this were all to fall as rain, and for most this is largely going to be a rain event to start before we see that transition happening, this is a general 5 to 10 millimeters of moisture. However, some of those higher elevations looking at the potential for even 5 to 10 centimeters of snow. You're looking at the Duck Mountains here, some of those pink shading around Dauphin, for example. That's where we do have the potential at seeing some of that transition happening in Winnipeg. Like I said, this is largely a rain event. However, I do think we have the potential to pick up maybe a centimeter or so of some wet snow as this transition happens and as temperatures fall into the early morning hours on Friday. Of course, once we get back into Friday, we do see temperatures warming up again, so a lot of this will be melting, but just letting you know, just prepare yourself for maybe a little bit of snow as we head early morning into Friday. Temperatures first thing in the morning, you can start to see that Arctic ridge starting to sink a little bit further south than it was last night. So temperatures, Lynn Lake -11 first thing in the morning, -13s through Churchill and Gillam, and this does sink south as we get into the coming days, whereas in the south, temperatures starting at or just below the freezing mark. But as we get into the afternoon hours, you can see temperatures really hovering around that freezing mark, and that will assist in that transition over to more of a snow event. Into Friday, a bit more sunshine, temperature around -4 for the afternoon, so much cooler, and then we'll start to go on back of an upswing, Brittany, as we get toward the end of the weekend into next week.
All right. Thank you, Riley.
You're welcome.
We have much more to come right after this. Stay with us.
This is Manitoba. And this is Manitoba on your smart TV, because CBC News is now streaming local. Local news and weather on your connected TV or favorite device. CBC News Manitoba, streaming now.
Prime Minister Mark Carney is trying to sell his new economic plan to Canadians and opposition members. The budget includes big spending, big cuts, and a big deficit. And as Ashley Burke reports, it's no sure thing the Liberals can get it passed.
The Prime Minister trying to sell his budget to Canadians, starting with workers at a maintenance facility for Ottawa's light rail transit.
We will modernize our buses and trains that connect our communities.
Mark Carney focusing on $50 billion for local infrastructure in his plan.
In too many of our communities, the hospitals were built in the 1970s, and they're now serving twice the population they were designed for.
Carney pointing to $5 billion to build more emergency departments, urgent care centers, and new equipment for doctors and nurses. After releasing a budget with little that hasn't already been announced to help Canadians' bottom line, Carney now facing questions about if his plan is actually as transformative as he claims.
Do you think you might have overhyped this budget?
Look, I've been around a lot of budgets. This is a very different budget. I have a different view. The scale of investment that has not been seen, full stop.
But the scale of government cuts, 40,000 jobs, isn't sitting well with some.
Ordinary Canadians are going to be impacted by these cuts in dramatic ways. It's not just public servants losing their jobs. That is a terrible thing to be doing in the middle of an unemployment crisis.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
The Conservatives taking aim too over the government spending.
While Canadians are already unable to eat, heat, and house themselves, why is this Prime Minister's costly budget making them pay even more?
Hear, hear. Hear, hear. The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, this budget has 75% of the measures are for our sovereignty.
The NDP has issues with the plan too.
You know, it's a big disappointment there's nothing about, grocery prices. Mr. Carney said that he will be judged by citizens on the price of grocery, and we saw nothing in that budget.
The Liberals still need to get some opposition MPs on board to avoid an election. The NDP says they'll be talking to their constituents next week before deciding how they'll vote later this month. Ashley Burke, CBC News, Ottawa.
They'll now need one fewer vote to get that budget passed. A Nova Scotia MP has crossed to join the Carney caucus, citing Pierre Poilievre's leadership as one reason, and says he might not be alone. Kate McKenna explains.
It was a hero's welcome for former Conservative MP Chris D'Entremont at his first Liberal caucus meeting.
Chris's decision to join the government caucus at this crucial moment for our country is exceptionally valuable and important.
Prime Minister Mark Carney says the surprise floor crossing came after a meeting.
Mr. D'Entremont and I had a discussion in advance of his decision, as was appropriate. I think he wanted to test what we were going to do.
The Nova Scotia MP says he didn't see his red Tory values reflected by the party's leader, Pierre Poilievre.
I wasn't feeling that I was aligned with the ideals of what the leader of the opposition had been talking about.
And he teased there are other Conservatives that feel the same way.
I would suggest that there probably are those that are in the same boat, but I will let them tell their stories if that time comes.
But Conservatives say they feel betrayed.
I think it's shameful what he did. I could never imagine doing something like that, to misrepresent yourself to voters, to lie to your volunteers.
A floor crosser is disingenuous, disloyal, selfish, and opportunistic.
Well, I think they should look at themselves and see if they're offering the right thing to Canadians.
D'Entremont's defection puts the Liberals just 2 votes shy of a majority at a crucial time as Mark Carney looks to pass his first budget, sparking rumors that more floor crossings could be coming.
Last spring, Canadians elected a minority parliament and put a check and balance on the power of an untested prime minister. Mr. Carney is trying to manipulate that result and get a majority Canadians did not elect.
My sense is it would be a mistake to put all of our effort in trying to recruit people, but instead let's do the good work of governing and convince people that we're the right party to govern.
Chris D'Entremont says he wasn't offered any sort of cabinet position in exchange for crossing the floor. He says he left because he no longer felt represented by the Conservative Party. Kate McKenna, CBC News, Ottawa.
Emergency workers are searching for more victims after the plane crash in Louisville, Kentucky. At least 9 people died and 11 others are injured. The video we're about to show you may be disturbing to some viewers. That's dash cam footage. The UPS cargo plane was taking off, headed for Honolulu. It lifted slightly off the ground before crashing and exploding into a fireball. Investigators are looking at engine failure as a possible cause. The U.S. Supreme Court heard arguments today over Donald Trump's sweeping tariffs. The justices are weighing whether he exceeded his power as president when he imposed them on dozens of countries, including Canada, earlier this year. It could take months for a decision to come down, but as Katie Nicholson reports, they seemed skeptical of the Trump administration's arguments.
Before the arguments even began, Democratic lawmakers lined up outside the Supreme Court, making their case.
They're allowing Trump to tax any good from any country for any reason, as long as he calls it an emergency.
Inside, arguments scheduled for 80 minutes ran for twice that, a case that seeks to answer 2 main questions: whether the president has the power to impose tariffs under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, the 1977 law he used to justify sweeping duties on other countries, citing the border and fentanyl trafficking.
President Trump has declared that these emergencies are country-killing and not sustainable, that they threaten the bedrock of our national and economic security.
The case also aims to answer whether it is even constitutional. The plaintiffs in the case say it is not.
Our founders gave that taxing power to Congress alone. Yet here, the president bypassed Congress and imposed one of the largest tax increases in our lifetimes.
The lower courts have ruled against the Trump administration. The Supreme Court justices, even the conservative ones, skeptical, especially about the Oval Office taking power away from Congress.
What president's ever going to give that power back? Pretty rare president.
Trump has repeatedly made it clear how important this case is to him, posting last night on social media, "The United States Supreme Court case is literally life or death for our country. A Supreme Court decision against the tariffs, Trump's signature accomplishment, could be potentially embarrassing and also be an administrative quagmire if plaintiffs get to claw their duties back," as Justice Barrett noted.
You're saying before the government promised reimbursement, and now you're saying, well, that's rich, but how would this work? It seems to me like it could be a mess.
If the Supreme Court rules with the lower courts, the administration could still try to enact other tariffs, one through an act in the 1970s and another one going all the way back to the 1930s. But those would also likely face court challenges. Katie Nicholson, CBC News, Washington.
It's been 1 year since American voters elected Donald Trump to be their president. He was sworn into office in January, and a lot has already happened in his second term. So how are voters feeling about it now? Katie Simpson put that question to people in Starr County, Texas, a border community that's facing difficult economic times.
We are in the heart of Southwest Texas, a place called Starr County. Right over here, you've got the Rio Grande River, you've got Mexico. On this side, you've got some cliffs, and you've got the border wall right here on the American side. We decided to come here to get a sense of how voters are feeling 1 year after Donald Trump won the election. And we picked Starr County in particular because something unusual happened here. For 132 years in a row, voters in this county had voted for the Democrat who was the nominee for president. That was until 2024. Donald Trump became the first Republican at the top of that ticket to win. The key issues in that vote had been making life more affordable. Voters liked Donald Trump's promises on that, and his hardline immigration policies. To get a better sense of how voters are feeling, what they think he's done so far, we asked. 1 year after the election, what do you think about what happened? And has your life changed at all?
Can I say it in my own words?
Yes.
He's a piece of shit.
Tell me why you feel like that.
Because poor people are suffering. Old people like me, I'm 80 years old, are suffering. He wants to take our health cares away. He wants to take all the programs from the kids. People are starving.
Immigration has changed dramatically. Like you'd see literally people crossing the border illegally, not through our port of entry, but through the river. We'd see them crossing and cross through our historic plaza here, downtown area, and being processed here. So we'd see family units by the hundreds sometimes, and at all hours of the day and night. Now we don't see that happening. And the reality is that if we do, it's very rare, but I don't see illegal immigration. I'm sure it's happening. To what extent, I don't know. I don't have the numbers, but we don't see it like we did under the Biden administration.
Of the voters we spoke with, no one openly said that they regretted their vote on either side. And those Trump supporters, those Trump voters, they said that they're willing to be patient to give him more time to implement his agenda. Katie Simpson, CBC News, Starr County, Texas.
Well, she's got a chart-topping hit song, but the catch? She isn't real. We'll introduce you to the AI singer that's turning heads, and not all are happy about it. More on that after the break. An AI-generated song is breaking new ground by landing on a Billboard radio chart. Magda Gebrselassie explains what's behind the music and why not everyone is singing its praises.
Well, if you didn't know, this is Zanaya Monet.
Hi, you guys.
The AI-generated R&B singer reportedly has a multi-million-dollar record deal. It's been popping up on social media and streaming services. Now Billboard says Monet has hit one of its radio charts, the first known AI artist to do so.
You out what you got, Trizzy?
While this radio personality has heard the music,
it sounds like a great Southern R&B artist.
He says no way is Monet getting any play from him.
There's a ton of real artists here in the city, let alone across the world, that are just waiting to be discovered and heard. So, you know, let's put our time and effort into that.
Monet has real musicians fired up too.
Artists were already so mad that they're already seeing next to nothing from their work online and their work in digital music spaces. And they're saying this is another slap in the face from this industry.
Living wage for who? His advocacy group is pushing for legislation that includes AI protections, but experts say the law is playing catch up.
And the law needs to react to that technology, and that happens through a combination of lawsuits, settlements, statute, etc.
And it's already happening. Suno, the AI program Monet relies on to create its music, is facing copyright infringement accusations. You've been putting in work. Reports say there's a real person behind Monet. Its creator, according to Billboard, is a poet named Talisha Nikki Jones.
So she turned her poetry to song.
This is Monet's manager.
Music is the great connector, and we were able to use that to reach the world.
But not everyone is willing to tune in to what this AI is putting out. Magda Gebrselassie, CBC News, Toronto.
Here's the time run in the fifth. Strike three.
Well, some good news for Blue Jays fans that are still grappling with the pain of last week's World Series loss. Pitcher Shane Bieber is staying with the team rather than choosing free agency. The former Cy Young Award winner was a trade deadline acquisition from the Cleveland Guardians. His decision to stay with Toronto is a big boost for the starting rotation. However, other Blue Jays are up for free agency, including Bo Bichette, Max Scherzer, and Chris Bassett. Meantime, Major League Baseball says this year's World Series decider was the most watched baseball game in 34 years. Game 7 drew an average of 51 million people in the U.S., Canada, and Japan. The series average of 34 million viewers per game also made it to the largest global World Series audience since 1992. Riley back in now. Riley, I know there was a lot of, 1 week Blue Jay fans, a couple weeks Blue Jay fans that seemed to really jump on that bandwagon.
Yeah, no doubt. And you know what? As we head into the winter months, we have hockey to look forward to. So there you go. Okay, time for your dog walking forecast for your Thursday. And you know what? Maybe the morning is the better time for the dog walk tomorrow, because we are looking at a bit of messy weather into parts of the province as we head into the next couple of days here. First, let's introduce you to Buxton and Mistral. Thank you to the Davies family for sending this picture in. I know you sent it in a while ago. Thank you for your patience, and you can keep sending yours to talkback@cbc.ca. Well, you know what? I see a bit of husky in this one here, and you know what? I think it's probably pretty good weather for the husky as we head particularly into the evening hours tomorrow. Probably wanting to spend some time outside as we see that transition happening over to more of a snow event for parts of the province as we head into the early morning hours on Friday. Okay, temperatures today still above seasonal by several degrees for this time of the year. In fact, almost 10 degrees in Melita this afternoon. Roblin, Swan River both at 4, Winnipeg, Steinbach 6 degrees. 2 to 7 degrees across northwestern Ontario, and temperatures much cooler where we have a bit of a Arctic ridge starting to build into the province as we get into northern Manitoba. And you'll see as I advance this into the next few days, you can see how that ridge really sinks south, and that's going to really introduce some much cooler air into parts of the province, particularly as we get into the Friday, Saturday timeframe. But even as we get into early Monday, you can see how far south this digs. And I'm actually looking at overnight lows in the minus double digits even for Winnipeg as we get early into next week. I'll have more on that in your 7-day forecast coming up a little bit later on. First, though, overnight temperatures look like this: -4, partly cloudy in Dauphin, -3 to -4 in western parts of the province, Kenora -2, Dryden at -4. And again, looking at minus double digits for parts of northern Manitoba, Lynn Lake -13, and you'll notice along the Hudson Bay coast, still under the influence of some very windy conditions, northwest winds sustained at 35, could see some gusts up to 60 in Churchill, for example, as we head into the early morning hours on Thursday. Looking at your hour by hour for tomorrow, that ridge actually helping to keep things clear in northern Manitoba, so sunny skies for the most part, -9 by lunchtime in Thompson, getting up to around -7 by the mid-afternoon before we start to fall again as the sun sets. In southern Manitoba, looking at that cloud building in early, and you can start to see the leading edge of this snowfall as it pushes into the province. This particular forecast model has been keeping this snow for the most part north of the city through parts of the Interlake, but many of the other ones have actually been pushing this a little bit further south. So that transition will be happening from rain over to snow as we see the sunset, Brittany, and temperatures falling. So just prepare for a bit of a mess, I think, as we get overnight into Friday.
All right. Thanks, Riley.
You're welcome.
Well, as we told you earlier, the city will soon restrict where homeless encampments can be set up around Winnipeg. Here's a longer part of the conversation advocate Marion Willis had earlier with CBC host Marjorie Dowhouse on Information Radio.
If you look at where a lot of the encampments are, those are individuals that were housed and they were displaced by the various shuttering of buildings that were shuttered by bylaws and Winnipeg Fire Service at one point. You know, so clearly, if that's a lot of the population that is currently homeless, then simply moving people along didn't help. It actually created the circumstances that we're dealing with today. I think we need to do more. And I think a managed encampment to housing site, and the mandate is in that title, managed encampment to housing, a triage area where we can maybe take, waterfront, as the first group, get everybody in there linked to income supports, and let's match them to housing, move them out, bring in the next group. I'm thinking a maximum of 20 tents at a time, or 20 shelters at a time. Mm-hmm. And let's just really do the work to try to end homelessness here. If we try to just displace people, we haven't solved anything. There'll be more emergency calls, there'll be more violence, there'll be more of all the things that the city hopes to change. Because people out there, even in encampment, are pretty much in survival mode. You take away what little they have, and it just amplifies everything.
Now, Marion, I want to ask you, because you talked about this during yesterday's committee meeting. You recently visited Halifax, which has designated sites. What did you learn in your time there?
Well, yes, I did. And I thought, I think there's something for us to learn from Halifax. The Halifax model isn't perfect. I don't think there's a perfect model in Canada. But what I did think about Halifax was if they were actually managed sites, they're not managed sites, they're service sites. But I think if we had a site that was both serviced and managed, that was given a specific mandate, I really think we could kind of perfect that designated encampment model. And you know what? It can get worse. Well, it can get worse here in Winnipeg if we don't take these steps. But I think we've got nothing to lose from trying. I mean, what we've been doing so far hasn't worked. So, maybe it's time for Winnipeg to turn the page. And let's move forward with to try a strategy that maybe, keeps the eye on the end game here, which is ending homelessness.
So, Marion, let me ask you this. If the reality of having a supervised site were to happen, who would be supervising, who would be overseeing these managed sites?
Well, actually, we would like to run the site. I think, if you play to the strengths of outreach teams in the city, Main Street Project is the sole provider to Your Way Home. They're a good match to Your Way Home. St. Boniface Street Links is really the encampment to housing team. We've been doing that for 4 years. Our outcomes kind of speak for themselves. There's End Homelessness Winnipeg, and they have the Reaching Home Agreement and all their funded organizations and various forms of outreach. I think if we could just open ourselves up to realize it's going to take more than one approach to end homelessness in this city. We need to start playing to the strengths of organizations and maximizing on those strengths, because together, if we can unite that way with 3 different pillars, what unites all of us is the end game. Let's not forget the plot. It's to end homelessness.
Still ahead, we'll introduce you to a pup that's somewhat of a local celebrity. Plus, Riley's back with the last check on our forecast. Stay with us. Well, this is a show that everyone has front row seats to, no matter where you are. Here's the supermoon seen rising from different parts of the world. It's classified as a supermoon when it's the closest point in its orbit around Earth. This one is even more special because it's the biggest and brightest one of 2025. In North America, any full moon in November is also called the beaver moon. It's the time of year when those industrious rodents are very active as they get ready for winter. You can plan your own private viewing of the lunar spectacle by gazing at the eastern horizon at sunset.
So that moon peaking officially at about 20 after 7 this morning Central Time, but still something to see in the sky tonight before we start to see some of that cloud cover building in. A couple from Manitoba that were sent in last night. Jeffrey tagged me on this one on Facebook. Gorgeous, gorgeous picture. I love how bright and how detailed this one is. And one more, equally as gorgeous, that Pat sent in overlooking the lake at Killarney. You can just see how bright that is in the sky. As always, I love seeing what your corner of the province looks like. You can send that to talkback@cbc.ca. So periods of rain beginning through the afternoon hours tomorrow for Winnipeg, looking at a few flurries overnight into Friday morning. Temperatures below seasonal into Saturday, into Sunday. Brittany, a bit of sunshine left and temperatures back up above zero into next week.
Okay, and Jeffrey's photo, so much better than the one I took with my iPhone. My goodness.
So nice.
Thanks, Riley.
You're welcome.
Well, a positive story for you now. The Humane Society in Windsor is marking 100 years in just a few months. And they're celebrating by digging up some history on one of the city's most memorable residents.
What if I told you that back in 1978, seeing a dog roaming the streets of the downtown core was a thing that happened and then soon became an urban legend? The dog's name was Pickles, and she lived in the back alleys of the core for several years. Not months, years. You see, Pickles had friends, people that would always serve her something to eat. Restaurant cooks, neighbors, school children, judges.
There you have it. Pickles, a local celebrity immortalized in newspaper columns and kids' books, went on to live as a mascot for the Humane Society, where her portrait remains to this day. It will be moved to its new Wall of Fame as part of the celebrations. Well, that's it for us here tonight. I hope you have a wonderful evening. I'll see you back here tomorrow.